In the culture, we've got several actors who've proven themselves on the theater stage, the big screen, and on television. Alan Payne didn't take any shortcuts and spent years perfecting his craft and learning from those around him, which is clear in all of his performances. Payne has been a figure that has shown up in an endless amount of films and television shows that are held closely in Black Hollywood. In his interviews, Payne appears to come off as reserved and only does interviews when it's directly connected to his work. Despite his introverted nature, Payne represents a true artist, highly dedicated to his work, which is why Alan Payne will always be unforgotten. Alan Payne was born Alan Roberts Jr. on July 7, 1968 in Harlem, New York City, to the parents of Barbara Reeves and Alan Roberts as their eldest child. Growing up in the rough streets of Harlem, Alan found difficulty keeping himself out of trouble. He attended Pennsauken High School and was constantly influenced and inspired by the street life of gangs and criminal activity in his neighborhood. In a 1994 interview with Vibe magazine, Payne said, "My attitude was I already knew this stuff. They didn't know. If you weren't an assimilationist, you're a troublemaker because you don't decide to just do their thing." His parents saw the road he was headed down and enrolled him in acting classes to occupy his time. Payne was introduced to acting after one of his cousins was teaching a drama class on Staten Island. "I studied at Actors Studio, HB Studios, here in New York. I embarked on the knocking of the doors saying, 'Hey, I'm here,' and everybody's saying, 'We know, but there are 100,000 others just like you. Please drop your picture off and keep it going.' So you do that for a while. You do a little job here and a little job there. People begin to take notice, and then you get other offers." Acting turned out to be what changed Alan's life, as he discovered that acting was his passion and his career of choice. From this moment, he took acting as his first priority in life. Alan is one who takes his craft extremely seriously. In a 1995 interview while promoting the release of Vampire in Brooklyn, he stated that he was very grateful to learn his craft in New York as opposed to Los Angeles. At the time, Alan felt that a lot of people moved to LA to become stars with no real game plan, whereas New York teaches you theater where you develop technique and other training. Similar to many of his peers in the acting world, Alan worked odd and small gigs trying to get his name and reputation to grow. His persistence would eventually pay off in 1989 when he was cast in his first notable on-screen role in the crime drama dance film Rooftops as the character Kadeem. Landing this role would create some positive buzz for Payne in the industry and got his name in the hands of industry connections. His biggest break would come later on the world-famous The Cosby Show. He portrayed character Lance Rodman on the show for the show's final 2 seasons. His character was introduced as the boyfriend to Charmaine Brown, played by Karen Molina White. Both Lance and Charmaine were friends of Pam Tucker, played by Erica Alexander, who was the latest addition to the Huxtable home. Alan would reprise his role as Lance in the Cosby spinoff, A Different World, a short time later. Alan's breakout film role was in 1991's New Jack City. Alan's performance was one of the most critically acclaimed of his career and is one of the main references to how excellent his acting can be. He said his real life helped him in preparation for this role. His portrayal of Gerald G. Money Wells, the drug lord sidekick opposite Wesley Snipes, was one of the most critically acclaimed performances of that year. Alan claimed that he took inspiration for the character from his days in the streets of Harlem and his neighborhood gang leaders. Off the heels of his celebrated performance in New Jack City and CB4, Alan was given the chance to shine as the lead role for the first time in a major motion picture in 1994's Jason Lyric. The film also starred Jada Pinkett Smith and is a romantic psychological drama film that deals with the repercussions of childhood trauma and the effects it has on relationships. The movie received mixed reviews from critics, but consistent praise was given to the main cast performances. The film has since become a cult classic in the community, with many identifying with its heavy themes and praising the performances of both Alan Payne and Jada Pinkett Smith. Despite the negative reviews the film received, the box office numbers were decent. The film grossed over $20 million from a $7 million budget. Following Jason's Lyric, Alan had roles in 1995's The Walking Dead, Vampire in Brooklyn, among several other productions. At the same time, he was also involved in television, guest starring in the sitcom All of Us, as well as the drama CSI New York. In 2006, Payne would land the role he is perhaps the most prominent for in Tyler Perry's House of Payne. The show would give Payne his biggest starring role in television and gave him the longest running job in his career overall. In a radio interview with Lady Charmaine, Payne said he received a call from producer Reuben Cannon to talk about a potential role for him in a sitcom that was created by Tyler Perry. Payne took the meeting, and before he knew it, he was cast in Perry's first sitcom. Many Many younger audience members became familiar with Alan Payne because of his signature role of C.G. Payne, and many audience members consider this role to be his most memorable overall. The show centers around CJ and his family after they are forced to move in with CJ's Uncle Curtis and Aunt Ella. House of Payne gave Ellen his most consistent work up until that point and endeared him to newer generations. House of Payne's initial run lasted 6 years, during which the show set the record for the most episodes aired during an African-American main cast. Interestingly enough, Perry had approached Payne to star in the 2008 film Daddy's Little Girls. According to his interview with Lady Charmaine, the role wasn't emotional enough for him. That and a few other details he didn't explain are why he decided to pass on the role. Since the massive run and success of House of Payne came to an end in 2012, Alan had decided to step away from acting for personal reasons involving the loss of his mother. Mentioned in an article by Camille Moore from TV Over Mind, Alan states, "After my mother died, I stepped away from acting. I chose to look inward and find myself, and I think that's important when you're an actor. You spend so much time trying to work and being interpreted by fans, executives, and people in Hollywood that you can lose a sense of yourself. You've got to get back to that." Based on this quote, it can be said that not only physical health, but also mental health was a big priority for Alan as he navigated his career. Furthermore, Alan has expressed that he is a religious person. He has a strong connection to God and believes that faith in God is necessary. You're not owed anything in this life, and as long as you are connected to the Creator, all things are possible. According to IMDb, Payne didn't appear in an acting role between 2012 and 2018, taking time off solely for his family. In 2018, he reprised his role as CJ Payne in the House of Payne spinoff, The Paynes. Although he only guest starred in 3 episodes of the spinoff, that reunion appeared to be enough for him to fall back in love with his acting roots. In 2020, he returned as CJ in the revival of House of Payne, where he has been since. Outside of acting, health and fitness is a large part of Alan's life. An interview for Black Doctor states, "Payne continues to work out regularly and keeps his diet disciplined by incorporating a healthy amount of fresh fruits and vegetables into each meal. He remembers his diet is his secret to aging gracefully. It's his outlook on life." In a 2013 interview with Maria Pagil Battle, Payne elaborated, "My family began to develop these chronic diseases. We'll actually love them through the process and then they would die. Then another family member would go through the same thing." Interestingly enough, when I moved to California for movies, and that opened up my world to the health and raw vegan movement. First, I was a pescatarian, then a vegetarian, and then I even was a raw vegan for a while. I developed healing habits. His healthy lifestyle has helped ensure that Alan is in the best overall shape for whatever roles may come down the line. He's a big advocate for self-determined health practices, as he believes the medical institutions do not have our best interests at heart. Another quote from the same article states, "One of the things people in our community need to understand is that you can't rely on institutions for your health and your life. We can go to them in emergencies, but life becomes so much more fulfilling when God puts the power in your hands. Once you gain the knowledge and awareness of what it is, then you take on the responsibility. And not only will your body blossom, but your mind does as well." Due to Payne's privacy, there has been much rumor and speculation behind his dating life, as not much is known. There are whispers, and he and his House of Payne co-star Demetria McKinney have some off-screen relations, but nothing was confirmed. There have also been rumors and speculation about him being a father, however this remains unconfirmed as well. Another aspect of Payne's career that is not as well known is his work in theater. Many great Black actors such as Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, and James Earl Jones came out of theater, so it's not surprising to see Alan in this group. Alan starred in a 2018 theatrical musical entitled The Musical Barbershop Live, When Love Fades, alongside comedian and actress Monique. Payne is a highly beloved and respected public figure in the Black community. With his talent, he gave audiences passionate performances that many of us will pass down to future generations. He did not take his lengthy career for granted and recognizes how rare he is to be working for such a long time. It's so rare for someone to have a career expand over 20 years. I don't know many Black actors in particular. It's actually very few. In order to do it, you not only have to be very talented, you got to be really lucky, and you have to be diligent and just really blessed and feel like every opportunity to work is a new opportunity. I'm going to do my part and just try to leave a legacy of a brother who worked hard, who understood who he was, and spent a lot of time trying to help others reach the same point in their lives. This mentality seems to have gone well for him, as Payne cares about the impact his work will have on the future generations and has stated he just wants people to know that he worked hard and tried his best to help people on the way, which is why Alan Payne will always remain unforgotten.